What's something that you're able to do because you are single and maybe you wouldn't get a chance to do if you were coupled up? Welcome to the first ever single shorty episode of All About Being Single. I'm Violetta, your host. So I did realize that I don't share as much personal examples with you as I probably should be. A lot of like my day-to-day life that I think exemplifies some of the stuff, well, all of the stuff that I talk about on the podcast. And what I was thinking about is that I know some of the episodes have been kind of longer, and I've been thinking that maybe I can try to alternate between like a longer, full length episode talking about a certain topic and then give you a single shorty episode that either covers that topic and maybe explains a little bit more or provides more examples from my own personal life. Or it can be on a whole other topic that just kind of comes to my mind about some of the things that I've been doing the last, few weeks or that last week or since the last time we had a single shorty episode. But so even if we don't alternate between like a full length and a single shorty, I'm going to try to at least every few weeks do a single shorty episode. And for this very first one, since we are not anybody's like top priority as single people, unless you obviously have kids, that might be a little bit different. Even with that, I guess it really depends on how old the kids are, and usually the parent is more treats the child as their first priority, and the child doesn't always treat the parent as their first priority. And so next week, I will actually talk about what it's like not being anybody's top first priority. So it's not a topic I'm necessarily excited to talk about, but I think it's a very important one, and I know you will resonate a lot with the topic. So tune in next week. And because we're not anybody's priority, I think that sometimes we maybe don't really get as much of a chance to share our wins and like small little joys of the day. Because sometimes, some of us do have enough friends where we can share like the big wins, but we might not really get to share the small joys that we get to have throughout our days. So I recently went on a vacation with one of my girlfriends, and I'm not going to talk about the vacation on here too much. We went to Canada to see Morgan Wallen play in Edmonton. It was his second to last show, I think, of the tour. And then we drove down to Banff, which I've been wanting to go to for so long. But again, that's a huge win for me. So that's not even a small daily joy. That's a huge win. And it was so beautiful out there. The weather was perfect. It was like in the 60s, 70s. It was just, the whole trip was great. But the trip was very like go, go, go. We had so many things to do. We had to drive long distances almost daily. And so I didn't really get much sleep on the trip. And we missed our flight the first day and had to sleep at the Toronto airport, and I really couldn't sleep, so I basically walked the Toronto airport for like 5 hours. And then again, the rest of the trip was very much go, go, go. So we would get to our next destination or next hotel either super late or like in the middle of the day, but then we had to basically just change, quickly get ready, brush our teeth, and then go to the next thing we were doing. I basically only maybe got about 15 hours of sleep throughout like the 4-day trip, which is not like me. I get pretty good sleep every day. I'm very cautious to try to make sure I get my sleep and try to go to bed around the same time and wake up around the same time each day. So when I got back home, I was supposed to actually cook because I was supposed to get back home early in the day on Monday, and I was off like my actual 9 to 5 job that day. But because we missed the flight and I had to pay extra money to get on another flight, I took like the bus and then the metro on the way back home, which took, so many hours to get where I live because I live in the Chicago suburbs. And so I didn't get back home till like 3 or 4 p.m. And I had to edit one of these episodes actually so that I was able to get it out for you guys last Tuesday. But so I didn't have enough time to meal plan that day like I was supposed to as well. And I was just so tired and again, didn't get that much sleep. So what I did the remainder, I think I did this for like 4 days straight. I ate cheesecake for dinner in bed for like 4 nights straight. And it was amazing. It was so nice. And by the way, if my future ex-husband is listening, cheesecake is the way to my heart. So I love any kinds of cheesecake. I don't care if it comes with farmer's cheese, cream cheese, goat cheese. Just kidding. Goat cheese is not the goat of cheesecake. That sounds disgusting. But just about any kind of cheesecake is top notch, love them. It's my absolute favorite dessert. And there's a coffee shop by my house that makes really, really good, like Kinder cheesecake. Oh, top notch. Probably gonna eat that for dinner again today now. But anyhow, so I get to eat my cheesecake for dinner every night. And if I was coupled up, I would probably not be doing that. Because usually, couples either eat together and, sometimes couples cook together because that is a nice way of connecting a little bit more. It's not the norm to eat your dinner in your bed. But when you're single, you can do that. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. But yeah, I'll let you propose to me if you get me cheesecake for our first date. So if you're listening, cheesecake truly is the way to my heart. Not goat cheesecake. Let's not get carried away. And another day, and this was the Sunday after I got back. After I got back from the trip, I was working on this podcast actually, but it took me way longer than what I thought it was gonna take to record and then edit the episode. And like after I was done with the podcast, it took way longer. I think I wasn't done till like 2 or 3 p.m. on a Sunday. And I just was like, you know what? I don't want to do anything else for the rest of the day, but just go to a nice hike. And I do live in the Midwest, so there's not that many hiking, like real hiking places around me. But there is this place called Starved Rock State Park, and I really want to go out there. It's only like an hour and some change away from where I live. And I was just like, yep, I'm just going to go. Like, even though it's super late in the day and it's going to take me a while, because I'm sure I'll probably stop and pee someplace, but I really want to go, and so I'm just going to go. And if I was in a relationship, Sundays usually is like the day that I like to relax and that I do like to hang out with my person. And so we might have already had plans, or, we might have had plans with their friends or my friends or just with each other. And maybe I wouldn't have been able to just on a whim decide to go on this hike almost an hour and a half away from where I live. I maybe wouldn't have want to let them down. And maybe I wouldn't want to cancel on them just so I could go on this hike. And maybe they wouldn't want to go with me. But basically, I didn't have to check in with anybody. I was just able to just get up and just go, which was amazing. I love that for us. Sometimes when I say I love that for you, I do not mean in a positive way, but the way I just said it right now, I do actually love that for us. And then on the hike, I was able to stop and take pictures whenever I wanted. I was able to stop because I was out of breath whenever I wanted to, without feeling like I'm holding somebody back. I was able to listen to a good podcast at times, and I was able to just take off my headphones whenever I wanted. I was able to listen to some good music at the times that I wanted. And if you are going with somebody else, maybe they want to talk to you. So maybe you're not actually listening to whatever it is you want to listen to. So it's always just nice to have that flexibility and that freedom to just in that moment do whatever you want to do without having to put up a boundary of, hey, no, I want to just listen to this instead of talking to you. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to be able to obviously talk to somebody while you're on a hike with them. I'm just saying it's nice to have that flexibility to be able to get up any time of the day and decide this is what I want to do and this is the way that I'm going to do it. But again, not saying that you can't do these things with a partner. It's just a little bit more socially accepted of a behavior to do this when you don't have a partner. And again, you don't have to go that extra step of having to explain to somebody why you're doing something this particular way. It's just freeing not to have somebody else to take into account when you're making these on the spot, cool little decisions about your date. So your note to self today is, what's something you've done recently, again, big or small, while being single that you wouldn't have done if you were coupled up? So take a minute, think about it, jot it down anywhere, or just think about it. Just think about something small and be proud of yourself that you got to do this thing and that you actually did that for yourself. Because sometimes we don't think about how these small little actions, how these small solo treats or solo adventures really improve our lives and the effect of them. It's nice to reflect on how well we treat ourselves. And yeah, sure, maybe my cheesecake story isn't the best way to treat myself, but also I know for those few days I needed that. So while it's not the healthiest treat, it was something that I needed at the time because I didn't want to have to do all this work to cook for myself, and I didn't want to overspend money on other meals. And it was just something I was craving, and it made me feel good in the moment, and that's what I needed in the moment. And honestly, it made me feel better than any of the men I've dated in the past. So there's also that. If you don't mind, please share this episode with anybody who's soloed that you think would benefit from this content. I really appreciate you doing that. I really want to make this a community of us. Okay, let's do our little dancey dance. I don't think Trouble's gonna join, but that's okay.
It's all about you, no matter what the others say. But now I'm done talking, the lights on me. I tell you, I guarantee this night's about to take a turn for the better. Now the rain is pouring and all I see is lightning around my feet. Now nothing can bring me down. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance.
And today's glow up is just this week, each day, or at the very least every couple of days. Write down one thing that you did that you could only do while being single, no matter how small. Maybe you stayed out late. Maybe you read a book. Maybe you bought something just for yourself. Maybe, again, you went on a spontaneous trip. Maybe you binged a show guilt-free. Like, it could be so many things. Like, there's just a variety of things that we're able to do for ourselves guilt-free when we are single. And I really want us to focus on celebrating those small joys. And please feel free to DM me at the All About Being Single account on Instagram with what you've done and how it's helped you, or email me at allaboutbeingsingle@gmail.com. Or as an alternative, if you're feeling frisky, you can always send me a voice note at allaboutbeingsingle.com. Because the thing is, being single lets you explore and try and do things for yourself at your own pace. And even if it feels like you're late compared to some other people, you're on time. You're right on time for your own path. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next Tuesday.